Phylum Arthropoda. Phylum Arthropoda belongs to the kingdom Animalia. Phylum Arthropoda belongs to the kingdom Animalia. Subkingdom Eumetajoa. Grade Bilateria. Bilateria is also called Triploblastica. Bilateria or Triploblastica. Grade Bilateria or Triploblastica. Division
Protostomia.
Protostomia or Deuterostomia?
Protostomia.
Protostomia. Subdivision Scheizoscilometa. Subdivision Scheizoscilometa. Phylum itself Arthropoda. Okay. So with this kingdom Animalia hierarchy where it belongs to the Eumetajoa, Bilateria, Triploblastica, Protostomia, Scheizoscilometa. With this, we can write some characters, isn't it? So let us write the characters here. The type of symmetry can be expected here.
Bilateral symmetry.
Bilateral symmetry. Number of germ layers.
3 germ layers.
Yeah, triploblastic animal. 3 germ layers because it belongs to the grade Bilateria. Bilateral symmetry, 3 germ layers, and what type of organization?
Organ system. Grade of organization.
Organ system grade of organization. Okay, then fate of blastopore.
Mouth.
Because it belongs to division Protostomia. So what will be the fate of blastopore?
Mouth.
Mouth. Fate of blastopore will be mouth. Type of cleavage.
Spiral and determinate cleavage.
The type of cleavage is spiral and determinate type of cleavage. Spiral and determinate. Okay, so type of cleavage, spiral and determinate type of cleavage is present. Okay, next, the type of embryo.
Mosaic
embryo.
Mosaic embryo. Type of embryo, mosaic embryo is seen here. Okay, so type of body cavity.
True body cavity.
True body cavity.
Type of body cavity. What type of body cavity is expected here? Because it belongs to the Scheizoscilometa. True body cavity or secondary body cavity. True body cavity or secondary body cavity can be seen over. True body cavity or secondary body cavity, we can say seen over. That means eucoelom. We can say this animal is eucoelomate. Okay, but what type of eucoelomate it is? How that Scheizoscilometa it is? That means here true body cavity formed by the splitting of mesoderm. Formed by the splitting of mesoderm, or we can say scattered mesodermal pouches. Splitting of mesoderm, or that we can say true body cavity formed by scattered mesodermal pouches. So all this information we learn because of that it belongs to the kingdom Animalia, subkingdom Eumetajoa, grade Bilateria or Triploblastica, division Protostomia, subdivision Scheizoscilometa. We come to know this is belongs to this particular taxonomic hierarchy. You will able to say that we are having bilateral symmetry, 3 germ layers, organ system grade of organization, fate of blastopore will be mouth, and type of cleavage will be spiral and determinate, type of embryo mosaic embryo, type of body cavity true body cavity or secondary body cavity, which is formed by the splitting of mesoderm or scattered mesodermal pouches. But here we have some exception that we need to discuss. That means whether do they have the true body cavity or not, that we have to discuss. That means for that we should go for the body cavity of phylum Arthropoda. That issues of the body cavity related to the body cavity, whatever the issues are there, that we have to discuss. Here, in case of Arthropoda, open vascular system is present. Open blood vascular system. That means blood flow in the body cavity. blood flow, open blood vascular system, which means the blood flow in the body cavity. That if you observe the earlier in phylum Annelida, as we have seen in earthworm also, closed vascular system is there. Blood vessels are present, but blood capillaries are absent here in case of Arthropoda. In the Annelida, both blood vessels and blood capillaries are present. That's why we say closed vascular system. Here, blood vessels present, but no capillaries. That's why blood flow occur in the body cavity. And that means body cavity filled with blood. Blood-filled body cavity is called, blood-filled body cavity is called hemocoel. That you have to remember. The blood-filled body cavity of Arthropoda is called hemocoel. Okay. Now the question raises, this blood-filled body cavity, hemocoel, whether they have true body cavity or not. Whether they have true body cavity or not. Okay, so the blood-filled here, so I am correcting blood-filled body cavity, hemocoel, whether it is true body cavity or not. That we have to see here. But in case this particular body cavity, which is called hemocoel, which is filled with the blood-filled body cavity, blood of that phylum Arthropoda in general called as hemolymph. Should remember it as hemolymph. What is hemolymph? Blood filled. Most of these organisms of phylum Arthropoda are with white color blood. So that's why we say it as hemolymph. Blood-filled body cavity is said to be as hemolymph. Blood is called as hemolymph, and the blood-filled body cavity is called hemocoel. Now, as I said to you, it belongs to the subdivision Scheidecoelomata. That means they should have the true body cavity. So whether this hemocoel true body cavity or not, no. This is primary body cavity. That hemocoel is primary body cavity. So we already said those who have primary body cavity are embryonic blastocoel. If it remain in the adult, that can be called false cavity, isn't it? We discussed in nematode. Okay, so this is false cavity. But we said this is Scheidecoelomata. That we, because it belongs to the subdivision Scheidecoelomata, they should have true body cavity. Whom we call true body cavity? Secondary body cavity is present, that we call that body cavity as true body cavity. But these arthropods, most of the arthropods are having that blood-filled body cavity, which is called hemocoel, and this hemocoel is primary body cavity. So where does the true body cavity is present? That we need to understand. The true body cavity or secondary body cavity restricted to excretory and reproductive organs. That means gonads, excretory organs and reproductive organs. So true body cavity restricted to excretory organs and reproductive organ. Reproductive organ means gonads. That means it was an exception, you can say. We didn't say this kind of exception in phylum Annelida. We said Scheidecoelomata and we said body cavity is there, true body cavity that lined with peritoneal layers, that we said in case of Annelida. But in Arthropoda, that true body cavity or secondary body cavity is restricted to excretory organs and reproductive organs like gonads. The remaining body cavity, that which is called hemocoel due to the presence of blood flow in them, that we say that is primary body cavity or false cavity. That is the personal exception of phylum Arthropoda, as well as in mollusca also similarly you'll find this. Okay. So that means exact true body cavity means it is there in phylum Annelida only. That you have to understand. Okay. So this is a little complicated issue. Let's go through this. We said open vascular system, open blood vascular system present, blood-filled body cavity is called hemocoel, blood-filled body cavity is called hemocoel, blood is called hemolymph, the blood of phylum Arthropods mostly called hemolymph. That blood-filled body cavity, hemolymph-filled body cavity is primary body cavity, which means false body cavity. the true body cavity or secondary body cavity is restricted to only excretory organs and gonads, excretory organs and reproductive organs. So that is the one of the issue we need to learn. And next, phylum Arthropoda. Arthro, which means jointed legs. Arthro means jointed, poda means legs. So what do you say? Phylum Arthropoda. Okay, so before we enter into the topic, we'll go with that particular some of the most general characters, and most of the general characters are having need to be distributed into the classes here. So that's a along with that classes I'll go with the general characters, but first of all let's go with the common characters here. The phylum Arthropoda is the largest phylum, that to be remembered. Largest phylum among the known 80% of animal species are belongs to phylum Arthropoda only. The known species, 80% of the known species are belongs to phylum Arthropoda only. That we have to remember. That means out of the total from Porifera to Chordata, including human, that among the total known animals, 80% of the animal species are belongs to phylum Arthropoda itself. Largest phylum in the animal kingdom is phylum Arthropoda. That we have to remember. And largest class is Insecta. That means in phylum Arthropoda, Insecta class is said to be largest class. Okay, so that over 2/3 of all named species on earth are arthropods, which they account for 80% of animal species are belongs to itself arthropoda. Okay, so then the one more unique feature, that chitinous exoskeleton. Chitinous exoskeleton. That our body of arthropods is with chitinous exoskeleton is present. Okay, some are having calcium carbonate shell. When we go into the classes, that we'll see that chitinous exoskeleton is the characteristic feature. And the very, very important feature of the phylum Arthropods is molting. Molting, which even called ecdysis. Ecdysis or molting. Molting is a feature which is a common characteristic features of phylum Arthropoda. What is molting? The body of arthropods, as we said, that is covered by chitinous exoskeleton, which is for protection and to prevent the loss of water from the body. Then that particular chitinous exoskeleton is periodically shedding off. The chitinous exoskeleton of body of phylum Arthropods, which is useful to prevent the loss of water from the body, and also for that protection. This chitinous exoskeleton during the growth of the body is periodically shedding off. Shedding off. That's why we call that procedure as molting. That means this chitinous exoskeleton will be removed and new one is formed again. That again and again during the growth time, that periodically this particular chitinous exoskeleton is getting shedding off. That feature we say molting or ecdysis. Okay, so what to be remembered about the phylum Arthropoda till the time what we are seeing, till the time we said that they have bilateral symmetry, 3 germ layers, organ system grade of organization. Fate of blastopore is mouth, and type of cleavage is spiral indeterminate. Type of embryo is mosaic embryo. Body cavity is true body cavity actually, or secondary body cavity which is formed by the splitting of mesoderm or scattered mesodermal pouches, because they are belongs to the subdivision Scheiger cylometa, but we have some exception. Blood, that open blood vascular system, which blood flow in the body cavity. The blood is called hemolymph. Blood-filled body cavity is said to be hemocoel, and that is primary body cavity, false body cavity. So where do you see that secondary body cavity, so-called secondary body cavity, which is said to be the true coelom? That secondary body cavity is restricted to the excretory organs and gonads. Okay, then largest phylum. It is 80% of the known animal species are belongs to phylum Arthropoda only. 2/3 portion of the animal kingdom is belongs to phylum Arthropoda. That's why we call it as largest phylum. And body is covered by chitinous exoskeleton, which is for protection. Chitinous exoskeleton, that which is doing protection. Okay. So then that periodically that particular chitinous exoskeleton is shedding off during the growth process. That process we call molting or ecdysis, which is a unique characteristic feature of phylum Arthropoda. Okay, phylum Arthropoda, unique characteristic feature. Okay, next, what we said, Arthro. What is the meaning of Arthro? Arthro means jointed. Okay, poda. Poda means legs. That means one more characteristic feature about this is legs. Jointed legs are present in these organisms. Jointed legs are present. Okay, so that particular legs are individually different in different classes, but all they are jointed legs, no doubt about that. That we'll see when we go to the classification. Okay, we'll move it on. Then body division of phylum Arthropoda. Body division is that is unique here. So the body division in the form of tagmata. That is very important to be remembered. Tagmata. Okay. So that, for example, what is tagmata? What is tagmata? Let's take the cockroach. Cockroach is well known, isn't it? That which belongs to phylum Arthropoda. So head, thorax, and abdomen. There are three portions in the cockroach body. So what do you say that as? There are three tagmata are present in the cockroach. You should say like that. That means that we pronounce it as tagmata. The first tagma is head, then thorax, then abdomen. There are three tagmata, we should say. Okay. So that the tagmata is different for different classes. That's why let's take a look. To make it, we need to go for classification. So first of all, we'll go for the classification and we see the diversity of the tagmata in the phylum Arthropoda. Okay. So let's see here that we know that the phylum Arthropoda is classified into Trilobita and Cheliceraata, Mandibulata. There are three subphylum are present here: Trilobita, Cheliceraata, Mandibulata. Cheliceraata include Xyphosura and Arachnida. Cheliceraata include two classes here, Xyphosura and Arachnida. The phylum Arthropoda classified into three subphylum: Trilobita, Cheliceraata, Mandibulata. Cheliceraata include two classes, Xyphosura, Arachnida. Now that Mandibulata, it includes Crustacea, Chilopoda, Diplopoda, Hexapoda, Chilopoda, Diplopoda, Hexapoda. Hexapoda nothing but called insecta. Okay, so these are the classes. Okay, so what are the classes wise? If you take Xyphosura, Arachnida in Cheliceraata, and Crustacea, Chilopoda, Diplopoda, Hexapoda or insecta in case of Mandibulata. So three subphylum: Trilobita, Cheliceraata, Mandibulata. Then in Cheliceraata, Xyphosura and Arachnida. Cheliceraata include Xyphosura and Arachnida. Then Mandibulata include that Crustacea, Chilopoda, Diplopoda, and Hexapoda. Crustacea, Chilopoda, Diplopoda, Hexapoda. We'll take it each and every one. We'll take a full page for them and then we'll write all of them clearly. And along with the general characters, we have to learn them also. So let me give Trilobita along with examples. So first of all, let me say examples. Then after we'll go with. So the Xyphosura is another class, belongs to the Cheliceraata subphylum. Then I'm taking one more page, Arachnida. Arachnida. Okay, Xyphosura, Arachnida, or belongs to Cheliceraata. Okay. Next, Crustacea. Crustacea is a class, belongs to subphylum Mandibulata. Then Chilopoda. Chilopoda. Chilopoda and Diplopoda. These two are the classes here. Chilopoda and Diplopoda belongs to Mandibulata. Next, Hexapoda or insecta. We say Hexapoda or insecta. So Made an arrangement here. Made an arrangement for all of them. Let me show you once again the classification that phylum Arthropoda into three subphylum: Trilobita, Cheliceraata, Mandibulata. Then in that Xyphosura and Arachnida are the classes of Cheliceraata. Crustacea, Chilopoda, Diplopoda, Hexapoda or insecta are the classes of Mandibulata. Classes of Mandibulata. Now let's take some examples of them and then after we'll go into the characteristic features. Okay, so first of all, I'm taking examples. Trilobita. Examples for Trilobita. Triarthras. Triarthras and Dalmanites. Triarthras and Dalmanites are the examples for Trilobita. Next, let's go to the Xyphosura, which belongs to the subphylum Cheliceraata. Xyphosura, which belongs to the subphylum Cheliceraata. Examples are said to be Limulus. Limulus. Yes, a Limulus, which is commonly called king crab. And what is the speciality of king crab? It is a living fossil. So first time the word came, we need to see what is living fossil. If a particular animal, that generally we call species as dynamic, any species. That means periodically that particular animal with along with the environment, it will change. That means 1 million years back, human being is not like this, isn't it? That periodically that particular human is changed. That's why we say, we use a common word we used in first chapter. Species are dynamic, which can change according to the environment. If any animal doesn't change for a longer period of time, if any animal is not changing for a longer period of time, that any animal, that here we have some examples, in the future time it will come more. If any animal doesn't change for a longer period of time, no change in them, doesn't change for a longer period of time, we call it as living fossil for a longer period of time. So first time, that's why I'm explaining here. In future times when it comes, I say living fossil. It remain unchanged, that we say living fossil. So Xyphosura, example, we have taken Limulus or living fossil. Let's go into the Arachnida. Examples for Arachnida. Phalamnius. Phalamnius, or we say Scorpion. Example here, the Phalamnius. It will increase. Phalamnius or Scorpion, we say. The common name of the Phalamnius is Scorpion. I think you may know the Scorpion. The common name you may know. Scorpion. Phalamnius or Scorpion. And the one more example here, Arania. Arania is said to be spider. This is well known, I think, for you. Spider. That if Spider-Man exists, he belongs to arachnid. Okay. Next, Sarcoptes. Sarcoptes, which is called ichmite. Sarcoptes, commonly called ichmite. Which arachnida it belongs to? Phalamnius, Scorpion. Arania, spider. Sarcoptes, ichmite. Next, Crustacea. Class Crustacea belongs to subphylum Mandibulata. Examples for Crustacea. So that is that more examples we have. Let's take a look on the examples here. Examples: Pelimon. Pelimon, which is commonly called freshwater prawn. Pelimon is said to be freshwater prawn. Okay, so that see the pronunciation, Pelimon, freshwater prawn. Cancer. Cancer, which is nothing but called a crab. Cancer crab. The next, Belanus. Belanus is said to be rock barnacle. Example for Belanus is rock barnacle. Rock barnacle. Belanus, rock barnacle. Okay. Next, Sacchilina. Sacchilina is called root-headed barnacle. Sacchilina is said to be root-headed barnacle. We can call it as root-headed barnacle. Sacchelina, root-headed barnacle. Okay, so Pelimon, freshwater prawn. Cancer, crab. Belanus, rock barnacle. Sacchelina, root-headed barnacle. Astacus. One more example we have. Astacus, crayfish. Astacus, crayfish. Okay. Next, the last one, Daphnia. Daphnia, water flea. Daphnia, commonly called water flea. Water flea. Okay, so let me read once again that Pelimon, freshwater prawn, cancer, crab, Belanus, rock barnacle, Sacchelina, root-headed barnacle, Astacus, crayfish, Daphnia, water flea are the examples of class Crustacea. Then let's go with Chilopoda. Examples of Chilopoda. That Chilopoda, Scolopendra, Scolopendra and Scutigera. Examples here, Scolopendra and Scutigera. Next, Diplopoda. Examples for Diplopoda. That Diplopoda includes Pyrostreptus, Pyrostreptus and Jullus. Pyrostreptus and Jullus. Next, class Insecta or Hexapoda. Well-known insects are belongs to here only. And we said this particular class is largest class, isn't it? So that all insects we can say simply. Then let's write some examples. Our well-known Periplaneta, Periplaneta americana. What do you say it as? Cockroach, Periplaneta americana, which is commonly called cockroach, belongs to class Insecta. And Musca, Musca domestica. Musca domestica is nothing but housefly. Musca, housefly. Okay, and all mosquitoes are belongs to here only. That means Anopheles, Culex, Aedes, whatever the mosquitoes you are going to hear. Anopheles, Culex, mosquito, Aedes mosquito, Aedes aegypti, we say dengue fever. So all these are commonly called mosquitoes. Anopheles, Culex, Aedes. That flies are there, CC fly, that sand fly, all they are belongs to here itself. That means most disease causing organisms are belongs to here only. Mosquitoes, we say simply Anopheles, Culex, Aedes. And Lepisma, Lepisma which is called silverfish. Lepisma, silverfish is present here. Okay, Periplaneta, cockroach, musca, housefly, and Lepisma, silver, that fish we can say Lepisma, silverfish, and the remaining mosquitoes like Anopheles, Culex, Aedes, that all these are mosquitoes are belongs to class Hexapoda. We said this is the largest class. Hexapoda is the largest class. Phylum Arthropoda is the largest phylum, and this is largest class in animal kingdom. Okay, that means with lot of variation with different kinds of insects. Butterfly is an insect. Any insect, whatever you say insect, that is belongs to here in class Insecta. Okay, so let me take a look on these examples. Then after we'll get into the topic. Trilobita, subphylum Trilobita, that include Triarthras and Dalmanitis. Diphosura, Limulus, king crab. We say it's a living fossil. Next, Arachnida, Pelamnius or Scarpium. Arania, commonly called spider. Sarcoptes, Ichmai. Crustacea, Pelimon, freshwater prawn, Cancer, crab, Belanus, rock barnacle, Sacchelina, root-headed barnacle, Astacus, crayfish, Daphnia, water flea. Next, Chilopoda, Scolopendra and Scutigera, Diplopoda, Pyrostreptus and Jullus. Hexapoda or Insecta, Periplaneta, Periplaneta, we have a small mistake here. Periplaneta, we say Periplaneta americana. Periplaneta americana is one of the famous. We are going to learn the cockroach in detail in coming days. Periplaneta is cockroach. Musca, housefly, Anopheles, Culex, Aedes, mosquitoes, all they are. Lepisma, Lepisma, here again small mistake. Lepisma, that we say silverfish, commonly called silverfish. Okay, everything on set. Only thing you have to remember that these classification, that primary classification I shown here. Phylum Arthropoda include Trilobita, Cheliceraata, and Mandibulata. Cheliceraata include Xyphosura and Arachnida. Okay. And Mandibulata include Crustacea, Chilopoda, Diplopoda, Hexapoda, or Insecta. Okay. Then we made it the class that some features we explained, that molting process, chitinous exoskeleton is periodically shedding off, and we declared it as largest phylum. 80% of the animal species are belongs to here, and the body is divisible into tagmata. So raising all these, that tagmata, we should start from tagmata itself. So I am erasing all these. That molting, I think it came much better to you. Molting means shedding off. Outer layer is getting shedding off. We say molting. Let me take the items which to be distributed in the classes. Number one, tagmata. Should we go with tagmata? Body division, we can say. Body division. So we'll start from here. That trilobita, a tagmata of trilobita. Tagmata of trilobita. Okay. So what are the tagmata of Trilobita? Head, thorax, pygidium. Head, body is divisible into head, thorax, and pygidium, we can say. The tagmata of Trilobita. Individual classes are having that their own specific body division. That's why we have to go like that. The Cheliceraata, that subphylum Cheliceraata, which include Xyphosura and Arachnida. In them, the tagmata will be prosoma, opistosoma. We can call them as prosoma, opistosoma. Prosoma, which is equal to cephalothorax, and opistosoma, prosoma and opistosoma. Everything is new words here. So be careful that when we hear it again and again, that will come into our mind and we can able to pronounce them. Okay, so the tagmata, body division of Xyphosura, is prosoma and opistosoma. Prosoma and opistosoma. Similarly, Arachnida, it also belongs to the subphylum Cheliceraata, isn't it? So that's why the tagmata, body division of these are same again. Prosoma, which is equal to cephalothorax, then opistosoma, abdomen, we can say. Prosoma and opistosoma. Okay, next. In case of crustacea, subphylum Mandibulata series started. Subphylum Mandibulata include crustacea, chilopoda, and hexapoda, diplopoda. Okay, so how the tagmata are here? That we have to see. How the tagmata are here? Cephalothorax and abdomen. Tagmata is cephalothorax and abdomen. Cephalo means head, thorax means thorax. That means head and thorax are fused and form cephalothorax. You have to remember. Okay, so tagmata, cephalothorax, and abdomen. In case of chilopoda and diplopoda, the tagmata will be head and trunk. In both, we'll find the same head and trunk. Body is divisible into head and trunk. Here also the same, head and trunk. And finally, the basic body division we'll find in hexapoda. That is tagmata. Why I'm using again and again. Tagmata means you should understand what is it exactly. What is it exactly? Body division. What is the body division? That what we have seen from the beginning. In case of insecta, the basic body division is seen on head, thorax, and abdomen. Okay, so what the word which will be used for only phylum Arthropoda, okay. But if I ask you, what is your tagmata? You may say that head, neck, that thorax and abdomen, that is your tagmata, human tagmata. So, but we should not use that kind of word for human. But in case of phylum Arthropoda, we are completed one item, that is stigmata. So let me show you the stigmata once from the beginning. Trilobita. The stigmata is head, thorax, and pygidium. Xyphosura, prosoma, opistosoma. Arachnida, prosoma, opistosoma. Crustacea, cephalothorax, abdomen. Chilopoda, head and trunk. Diplopoda, head and trunk. Hexapoda or insecta, head, thorax, and abdomen. Okay. Next we'll take one more character here. From here, the trilobita I am excluding, but most of the characters are that whatever the leftover characters we'll discuss afterwards. And then second item I am taking appendages. Appendages. That very important item. That 60% of characters will be completed here only with appendages. So that's why if you learn appendages in phylum Arthropoda, that you can feel so that most of them is completed. Okay, so appendage. What is appendage? Outgrowths of the body is called appendage. Outgrowths of the body. For example, that if you see in case of human being, from the thoracic region, two forelimbs came out. That means hands came out. So what do you say them as? Appendages. Can you call your lungs as appendages? No, they are present inside the body. Okay, that those who protruded out, outgrowths of the body, we can say appendage. The list of appendages we have to go in all these particular classes. That means in trilobita, chelicerator, mandibulata, which include the different kinds of appendages here. So that appendages information in every phyla, every subphylum, in every class, how it is given, we should go for. Okay. So appendages, I am putting heading that how appendages are there here. Appendages. So you do remember it as outgrowths of the body. So how does the appendages are present here? They are numerous. In case of trilobita, appendages are numerous. And appendages are numerous. Similar, look alike. All appendages look alike. And biramers. Appendages are numerous, similar, and biramers. Rami means branch. That means every appendage is going to divide into two in the end. That we call it as biramous appendage. Okay, so biramous, Rami, branch, by two. That means it was every appendage, outgrowth of the body is divided into two in all. In case of trilobite, all appendages are birams. Okay. Next, in case of Chelicerata, subphylum Chelicerata, which we said it includes Xyphosura and Arachnida. So how that appendages are present, that you have to look forward the appendages in Xyphosura. First of all, we need to go with the appendages of Xyphosura. Okay. So for that, that we know the body division actually, that we said prosoma and opistosoma. Prosoma and opistosoma, isn't it? So when it comes to the prosoma, that appendages of prosoma, appendages of opistosoma, we should discuss in that particular manner. Let me write first of all appendages of prosoma. Little gap came. No matter. Appendages of prosoma should write. Okay, so in that way, if you divide, that will be easy for us. Okay, so how many appendages are present? In case of the Chelicerata, the characteristic feature of Chelicerata is that there are about 6 pairs of appendages are present. That is not only Xyphosura, Arachnida also. That means in prosoma, 6 pairs of appendages are present. 6 pairs of appendages are present. In that, the first pair, yes, the first pair is called Chelicera. That's why it is called Chelicerata. It belongs to the subphylum. The first pair is said to be Chelicerata. Okay, the first pair of appendage is called Chelicera. Hence we call that chelicerae, chelicera, singular, chelicerae, plural. Okay, so first pair of appendages are chelicerae. So how many will remain then? 5 pairs of appendages will remain. Okay, so these 5 pairs of appendages, remaining 5 pairs are said to be legs. Remaining 5 pairs of prosoma are 5 pairs are legs. In that 4 pairs are walking legs. 4 pairs are walking legs. One pair is the pusher legs. 4 pairs are walking legs and one pair is pusher leg. It is called. So that means totally 5 pairs of legs are present. One pair is called pusher leg. So that is the story of prosoma. We should say like this. Prosoma is with 6 pairs of appendages. In that first pair is chelicerae. That remaining 5 pairs are legs. And the 4 pairs are walking legs. And one pair is said to be pusher leg. Totally, that 5 pairs of legs are present. Next, need to see about the opistosoma. Opistosoma. In case of opistosoma, what are the appendages? Actually, opistosoma is further divided into mesosoma and metasoma. It was further divided into mesosoma and metasoma. Okay, so mesosoma, metasoma. So that means appendages of mesosoma, appendages of metasoma. We should discuss appendages of mesosoma and appendages of metasoma. Okay, so mesosoma bear 6 pairs of appendages again. Mesosoma contain 6 pairs of appendages again. Okay, so that appendages of mesosoma are 6 pairs. So then account we have to say here what they are in 6 pairs. In that the first pair is formed, the first pair used to fuse and form genital operculum. First pair will form genital operculum. First pair fused and form genital operculum, which belongs to the reproductive system, reproductive structure it is genital operculum. And the remaining 5 pairs are modified into book gills. Remaining 5 pairs are modified into book gills, the respiratory organs, book gills, you have to that. The remaining 5 pairs are modified into book gills. No, this is all confusing, no confusion here. Whatever the confusion is there in the textbook, I am putting them in order. That means your learning order, it will be easy to you. So what do you know about Xyphosura? First of all, learn the example. Limulus, king crab. It's a living fossil that remain unchanged for millions of years of time. Body is divisible into prosoma, opistosoma. Prosoma, which is equal to cephalothorax, opistosoma is equal to abdomen. Appendages of prosoma. There are 6 pairs of appendages. Among them, that first pair is called chelicerae, and second remaining 5 pairs are legs. In that 4 pairs are walking legs. One pair is pusher leg. Then opistosoma is further divided into mesosoma and metasoma. Mesosoma is having 6 pairs of appendages, and the mesosoma is having 6 pairs of appendages. In the first pair is genital operculum, and the remaining 5 pairs are book gills. And metasoma end as telson. Finally, metasoma end as that pointed needle-like structure. We say telson. That's it. This is about appendages of Xyphosura. Appendages of Xyphosura. Okay. Next, let me move towards arachnida. Arachnida. That as we said the same here also. Stigmata, prosoma, and opistosoma. Here we have to discuss again appendages of prosoma and appendages of opistosoma. In that, first of all, let me go with prosoma. In case of prosoma, again same, because chelicerae it is. That's why we say 6 pairs of appendages are present. 6 pairs. Prosoma, appendages of 6 prosoma are 6 pairs. In that, as usual, first pair is chelicera. First pair is Chelicerae. That means because it belongs to subphylum Chelicerata, that's why we say first pair is Chelicerae. A pair of Chelicerae are present, and the pair. Let me write here in bracket Chelicerae. One pair of Chelicerae. First pair. Okay, we made it out. Next, second pair. That means remaining that five pairs. No, second pair. Second pair is pedipalp. Second pair is a pedipalp. Pedipalpi or pedipalp. You say that pedipalp is a sensing structure. We can say is a sensory structure. Remaining four pairs are legs. That means notice this that ardhru means jointed. Poda means legs. Earlier in Xyphosura we have seen five pairs of legs. Now here four pairs of legs are present. That number of legs vary in different classes. Four pairs of legs are present. So prosoma is having six pairs of appendage. First pair is Chelicerae and second pair is pedipalpi. Remaining four pairs are legs. What legs? Walking legs. These are terrestrial actually. That walking legs we see. Okay, walking legs. Okay, so prosoma is completed. Next, about opistosoma. We should go with opistosoma. That we said, what is divisible into prosoma and opistosoma. Okay, so in case of opistosoma, mesosoma and metasoma as well. Opistosoma is further classified into mesosoma and metasoma. So need to list out the issues of the mesosoma. That mesosomal appendages. That means mesosomal appendages. Here, that again, mesosomal appendages are modified into book gills. Sorry, book lungs. Earlier in Xyphosura, we have seen book gills. Now here, mesosomal appendages are modified into book lungs. What is this book gills and book lungs? Lungs are terrestrial organs that we say. So they look like open book. That's why we say them as respiratory organs usually. So that they look like open book and they are lung-like. That means pulmonary structures, respiratory structures. So that's why we say them as book lungs. Okay, book lungs. Earlier, book gill. The shape of that in that manner we say. Okay, then in case of spider, that means we need to maintain a separate column for spiders here that they have special. In this case, that the speciality of the spiders we have to discuss individually. So spider, we know Arania. Arania nothing but called a spider. Okay, in case of spiders, that appendages are different in case of spiders. So we'll write separately, we'll put putting a box item. So the spiders are having the four pairs of posterior abdominal appendages are modified into spinnerets. Spinnerets modified into spinnerets in case of spiders. You may know spiders secrete the web from the here only. That through the spinnerets only they are coming out, that web. Okay, so that four pairs of posterior abdominal appendages modified. Okay, so modified what? Abdominal appendage. They are modified abdominal appendages. So how many are modified like this? That means four pairs. So four pairs of abdominal appendages are modified into spinnerets in case of spiders. Okay, in case of spiders. So then, in case of spiders, the respiratory organ, book lungs are present here. Book lungs, we'll see here that is the spider speciality. The respiratory organ that in some spiders, trachea also can be seen over. Trachea is the respiratory organ in case of some spiders. So that is spider speciality. That variation, diversity. Okay, some spiders are having that book lungs. Some spiders are having trachea. Some are having both book lungs and trachea. So that's why we made a special box for the spiders. Okay. So that is about arachnida. Arachnida, the characteristic features. Next, book lungs. You should remember book lungs. Book lungs are the very important in that particular point of view. Okay. Next, we'll go with subphylum mandibulata. That means class crustacean. About appendages, you see, only one item I collected here. In everywhere, only one item I'm going with. And as I said to you, if you complete, if you are able to see, if you are able to read, if you by heart the appendages, that almost completed. That means I should add little flavor in them. Yes, that's why focus on appendages. Yes, so don't get afraid of this much length we have, phylum, Arthropoda likewise. Okay, so appendages we have to go through. In them, the crustacean, appendages of crustacean. As we know, there are cephalothorax and abdomen. That's the crustaceans. The tagmata of body is cephalothorax and here abdomen. Cephalic appendages. We should discuss with cephalic appendages. Cephalic region means in the head region. Cephalothorax, head and thorax fuse. Particularly talking about cephalic appendages, the cephalic region bears two pairs of antennae. Two pairs of antennae, which is a unique feature. We don't find this kind of two pairs in insect. Only one pair will find anywhere. So two pairs of antennae. We have names for them also, like antenules. First pair is called antenule, and second pair is called antenna. Antenules and antenna. We can see. Okay, so first pair and second pair, antenules and antenna, they are present. Okay. Next, one pair of mandibles are present, jaw-like structures. One pair of mandibles, one pair of mandibles, and one pair of mandibles, two pairs of maxillae, two pairs of maxillae. So they are appendages of cephalic region. Two pairs of antennae, one pair of mandibles, and two pairs of maxillae. Okay. Then thoracic and abdominal also having appendages. Thoracic and abdominal appendages are biramus. Thoracic and abdominal appendages are biramus. What is biramus? We have seen earlier. Bi means two. Rami means branch. Thoracic and abdominal appendages are biramus. So this is the story of appendages here in this crustacea. Next, moving with Chilopoda. Chilopoda. Little visual required here that I can't understand without visual. So head and trunk we already said. In these, the body is divisible into head and trunk. Okay, so Scolopendra I drawn here that to understand much better. That segments are present. That in case of Scolopendra, segments are present. Then jointed legs, as we know that jointed legs they have, that these particular jointed legs in case of the Chilopoda and Diplopoda. So first of all, this is the head region, appendages of head and appendages of trunk. Separately we need to see. Then let me write first, thereafter I'll show you. Then in case of Diplopoda is also like that, body is divisible into head and trunk, head and trunk. Here also the trunk is having segments, head is having a pair of eyes and a pair of antennae, then to one pair of mandibles, two pairs of maxillae are present. Then here also the same, a pair of eyes are present, antennae, one pair of antennae, two pairs in crustacea. Then one pair of mandible and two pairs of maxillae are said to be. So let us divide it. Let us divide it. Appendages of head and appendages of head and appendages of. Oh, first of all, we should put heading appendage, isn't it? Appendages of head and appendages of trunk. So here also appendages. So why I'm showing in one page these two, we have mostly that the difference-based questions will come. Why differentiate between Chilopoda and Diplopoda? I thought if the both are present in one page, it will be much helpful to you. Easily you can compare. Okay, so tagmata, body is divisible into head and trunk, and appendages of head. First of all, we are going with appendages of head. The head bear a pair of antennae as usual, then one pair of antennae, one pair of mandibles, and two pairs of maxillae are present. So let me write one pair of antennae, Only thing you have to remember, two pairs of antennae are only possible in case of that crustacean. Two pairs of maxilla. Two pairs of maxilla. Okay. Next, appendages of the trunk region. Appendages of trunk. In the trunk, when it comes to the trunk, each segment bear, each segment of the trunk bear a pair of clad appendages. Each segment bear a pair of clad appendages. Claws are present. Clad appendages. So that's it. That is speciality that I'll show you. That clad appendages. Let me take. So these are the jointed legs. Then each up that segment is having that claws in the end. So like this, like your pointed that needle-like structures here. So these are jointed legs. Jointed legs. So like these jointed legs are present, and also each leg in the end that claws are present. And interesting thing here, the first pair of appendages containing that jointed legs, the claws which are present there, they are poisonous. So claws are present, poisonous claws are present. That's why they are called Chilopoda. The name Chilopoda because of clawed appendages which poisonous claws. First pair of trunk appendages bear that poisonous class. So let us write here first pair of trunk appendages bear poisonous class. So poisonous class. Okay, these are the poisonous class I drawn. I am showing here. The first pair of trunk appendages bear poisonous class. Okay. Next about Diplopoda. You should see here that head as usual. That same. That one pair of antennae, one pair of mandibles are present here. One pair of mandibles, and two pairs of maxillae. Two pairs of maxillae. So one pair of antennae, one pair of mandible, and two pairs of maxillae are present. That one more speciality they have. That is that the second, that mandibles and maxillae as well. But maxillae, when it talks about, maxillae are modified into gnathochilarium, a structure, jaw-like structure called gnathochilarium. Very, very important. Gnathochilarium. Maxillae are modified into that a jawed structure we say gnathochilarium. In the same way, let us talk about the trunk region. Trunk. Here also the jointed legs is a common feature. That what type of jointed legs are present? That is very important, isn't it? The trunk segment bear two pairs of legs in each. Diplopoda, isn't it? We said diplo, two. That means that trunk bear that segments, and that segment, each segment bear two pairs of jointed legs. You might have seen over this kind of animals, isn't it? Okay, so that in case of Chilopoda, what we said, that one pair of that segment, the jointed legs in each segment, isn't it? In the same way, Diplopoda. So on that basis only we have name. Chilopods are called centipedes. Centipedes. Chilopods are commonly called centipedes. Then diplopods are commonly called millipedes. Which means 100-legged animals. 100-legged animals. And the diplopods are each segment where two, isn't it? So that's why these are called 1,000-legged animals. 100-legged animals and 1,000-legged animals. On what basis? On that basis only. But that each segment bear one pair of jointed legs. Here each segment bear two pairs of jointed legs. That's why we say centipede, 100-legged animal, and millipede, that 1,000 legs. So let me write here also two pairs of jointed legs in each segment. In each segment. So that's it. That is Diplopoda. Okay. Next, finally, that hexapoda. So we said head, thorax, and abdomen. Okay. So here also appendages are present. That head bear one pair of antenna and one pair of mandibles. One pair of mandibles. Then two pairs of maxillae. Two pairs of maxillae. The second pair is modified into labium that we'll discuss in cockroach. Second pair modified. Second pair of maxillae modified into labium. Maxillae modified into labium. So actually it will come back in cockroach. When we go there, we'll discuss. Second pair of maxillae modified into labium. Okay. Next, about the thorax. Talking about the thorax. Thorax bear three pairs of jointed legs. Thorax, the appendages of thorax. They're talking about appendages, isn't it? So just let me put heading appendages. So appendages of thorax, three pairs of jointed legs, and two pairs of wings are present. They are appendages in the thoracic region. So abdominal appendages are also there. Abdominal appendages. Okay, so in these, the little diversity is there. In case of male, in case of female, we should talk like this. In case of male, in male, anal style is a specialty. Anal style. And anal cerci is there in both male and female. So that's why when I write female, we write only anal cerci. Yes, anal cerci in female, but in case of male, anal style is present. So that is abdominal appendages. So this is a bigger one. That's why it took some time. Appendages of each and every class. Okay, so that's it. The story of appendages. Now let's move with the general characters that we just for long travel we did. That's why I'm showing little bit. The characters will end already. Bilateral symmetry, three-gem layer, organ system, grade of organization, fate of blastoporis, mouth, type of cleavage is spiral and determinate, type of embryo is mosaic embryo, type of body cavity, true body cavity or secondary body cavity, but it is restricted to the excretory organs and gonads. Blood-filled body cavity, hemocoel, which is the false cavity, and open vascular system, which makes them. Now, let's go with our general characteristic features. The we should start from habit and habitat, isn't it? Habit and habitat. You can't find a place in the world that either aquatic or freshwater, marine water, terrestrial, aerial, anywhere phylum Arthropoda are present, cosmopolitan in distribution. Okay, free living are there, parasites are there, everything. We said more 80% species are belongs to here only. Okay, next, locomotion. Locomotory organelles. Talking about jointed legs, isn't it? Let's make a round. We made it already. That here, let's make here only. Xyphosura. How many legs we said? 5 pairs of walking legs. Arachnida. 4 pairs of legs are present. 5 pairs in Xyphosura. 4 pairs are walking and 1 pusher leg. Arachnida. 4 pairs of legs are there. Chilopoda. Chilopoda is 100-legged. Diplopoda. 1,000-legged animal. Hexapoda. 3 pairs. Hexa. 6 legs are present. Crustacea is not given in text. So that 5 pairs of legs in Xyphosura, 4 pairs of legs in Arachnida, Crustacea is not there, and that in Chilopoda is called 100-legged animal. The Diplopoda is called 1,000-legged animal, centipede and millipede. By the name of the legs only that name like so. 3 pairs of jointed legs or 6 legs are present in Hexapoda. The name Hexa is called like so. So that locomotion, I think it came to understand. And one more specialty here, striated muscle, voluntary muscle, we learned earlier. That striated muscles are appeared for the first time in phylum Arthropoda. Muscles and legs are helpful for the locomotion. That striated muscles appeared for first time. Appeared for the first time in phylum Arthropoda only. Okay, here. Next, nutrition. Talking about that only food collection is diverse. That if you take our mosquito, they are sanguivorous ectoparasite, blood sucking, isn't it? So that all types of animals are there. Living are there, parasitic are there, like a digestive system. Much improved than that earlier phylum, Annelida. Earthworm is there, digestive system is there. Here, salivary glands are specially present outside the body. Earlier in earthworm, I showed to you, salivary glands as a part of pharynx, but separate salivary glands. You can see here, muscular alimentary canal. And alimentary canal is with regionalization. Means we classified the alimentary canal into foregut, midgut, hindgut, separately. It is that kind of thing in that earthworm in phylum Annelida. Respiratory system. That means should talk about. In some we wrote already. Should talk about the respiratory system. Here itself in Xyphosura, book gills, we discussed already. Book gills are the appendages of mesosoma, 5 pairs of book gills for respiration. Then in case of arachnida, book lungs are there for respiration, book lungs. Then spiders, in case they have some have book lungs and some have tracheae and some have bone. Crustacea. Crustacea gills are present here. The respiratory structures as gills. Gills as respiratory structures. Aquatic animal. Remember the prawn and crab. The gills are for respiration. Okay. Next, in case of Chilopoda and Diplopoda, tracheal system is present. That unique of this is tracheal system. Chilopoda, Diplopoda, Hexapoda. In all of them, tracheal system. I'm writing in the middle. Both are having same kind, tracheal system. Hexapoda, same. Tracheal system is for respiration. So that's it about the respiratory system and circulatory system. Next, we should go with the circulatory system. When it comes to the circulatory system, actually the circulatory system, as we discussed earlier, what's that? Open vascular system, open blood vascular system, blood-filled body cavity, hemolymph, and that body blood-filled body cavity is called hemocoel. That is Paul's body cavity. So that's enough for us. And hearts are present here. Hearts. And our cockroach is having 13-chambered heart. Interestingly, that heart is present, pumping the blood into the body cavity. Okay. And respiratory pigment. Should discuss about the respiratory. Most of them don't have respiratory pigment, but that respiratory pigment hemocyanin, that hemocyan, which is dissolved in the hemolymph, that respiratory pigment is present in some, like crustaceans and chelicerates are having the respiratory pigments. Let me write here. Crustaceans and chelicerates are having respiratory pigment. What's that? Hemocyanin. That we know hemoglobin, similarly like hemocyanin, a respiratory pigment is present that which dissolved in the blood, hemolymph. So that's it about the circulatory system. And then excretory system. That unique here, excretory system that we have to discuss in all, that excretory system. Okay, so that excretory organs are present here. Excretory organs in case of Xyphosura, excretory organs are going to be that the excretory organs in Xyphosura is not given actually, that that excretory organs are not given in text. So that's why I'm not going, which is already given so much. That's why that we should not go any extra here. So arachnida onwards we will start. Okay, excretory organs of arachnids are said to be Malpighian tubules. Malpighian tubules. Malpighian tubules and coxal glands. Malpighian tubules and coxal glands are present here as an excretory organs in arachnida. Then when it comes to the crustacea, the excretory organs are called Green glands are antennary glands. Excretory organs are green glands or antennary glands are present. Okay. Green glands are antennary glands. Next, in case of Chilopoda and Diplopoda, Malpighian tubules are present. Malpighian tubules. When we go to the cockroach, the detailed Malpighian structure of Malpighian tubules will learn. But here itself, just remember the name. Malpighian tubules in Chilopoda, Diplopoda, and Hexapoda. That is about excretory system. Excretory system. Excretory material is going to be uric acid, which is the unique of this particular water conservation technique. That eliminating uric acid is a kind of water conservative technique we can see. Okay, next, nervous system. As we learned in case of Annelida earthworm, circumpharyngeal nerve ring, isn't it? Here a small chain, circumesophageal nerve ring. Nerve ring surrounds esophagus. That circumesophageal nerve ring. Nerve rings around esophagus. That means supraesophageal nerve ganglia, subesophageal nerve ganglia, and which is connected by circumesophageal connective, we have to say. And as well, double ventral nerve cord is present. Double ventral nerve cord with segmental nerve ganglia, like earthworm. Okay. That one thing you have to remember that like the chordates, this nervous system is not much centrally located in the head. The nerve ring is present, only nerve ring. Okay, so that means that in body also the nerve ganglia can manage themselves controlling the body. Okay, that is a very important thing in case of phylum Arthropoda. If you take our cockroach, that means if we cut the nerve ring is there in the head region. We'll say this back in cockroach also, but very interesting thing that nerve ring, that means so-called brain, supraesophageal nerve ganglia. Okay, so if we cut the head region, that means in the head region wherever the nerve ring is present, if we cut the head region, remaining body will survive at least a week. Our cockroach we are talking about. Head contain brain like supraesophageal. So even if we cut, that it can manage to survive. But if we cut the human head, you may have seen over in Bahubali, immediately will die, isn't it? When you cut the head, why? Because the bigger brain is controlling everything, heart, lungs, that everything is controlled from the brain. If you cut the head, the next second he'll go. Okay, so that means, but in case of cockroach, if we cut the head, it will survive at least for a period of time. That is their specialty. Okay, so that's it about the nervous system. What we said about the nerve ring is present, so which surrounds the esophagus, circumesophageal nerve ring, double ventral nerve cord, and segmental nerve ganglia. Double ventral nerve cord and segmental nerve ganglia. Talking about the sense organs, we said about antennae already. And also along with the antennae, compound eyes are present. Most of them are having compound eyes, particularly talking about crustacea. Statocyst is present for balancing. We heard over statocyst in case of Medusa. Isn't it? Well, right there only crustacea. That statocyst is present for balancing organ. We can say statocyst is used for balancing. Okay, so statocyst is present. So finally, we are coming to the end. Be patient. Little patience required to learn Arthropoda, mollusca, and Echinodermata. Skeletal system. Skeletal system. Talking about skeletal system, we already said there is a chitinous exoskeleton. In case of this particular organism, chitinous exoskeleton is a characteristic feature of this particular organisms. But in case of crustacea, you'll find calcium carbonate exoskeleton also. Do remember, our prawns and crabs are having calcium carbonate exoskeleton. Okay. Next, about the reproductive system. Unisexual animals. These are reproductive system. Unisexual animals. Unisexual animals. Unisexual, what do you say? That dioecious, isn't it? Gonochoric or dioecious. That fertilization usually internal. Where's to write? Here we write. Internal fertilization, unisexual or gonochoric, we say, or dioecious, we can say. and internal fertilization is present. Fertilization, internal. Development is direct or indirect. In some, direct, in some, indirect. That means so many larval forms are there. If you take our mosquito, you may have a regular larva, housefly, maggot, butterfly, caterpillar, talking about insecta. When you talk about crustacea, so many larval forms, mysis, zovia, metazovia, megalopa, elima, nauplius, metanauplius. Don't get afraid. We don't have all that in our text. And we know that that particular larval stages need to modify into adult. The modification of the larval stage into adult is called metamorphosis. That very primitive larva, best example will take mosquito larva. Do you know mosquito larva lives in water? Regular we say. Okay. Breathe from air, live in water, breathe from air. That's why people used to spray kerosene and pyrethrum to kill them. Okay, so these regular larva, which not at all look like adult, we should become metamorphosized. That means changed into our mosquito. That means that our, why I said here, every house may have 4 family members, but at least 40 mosquitoes will be seen over, isn't it? So it is coming from regular larva. This what you say metamorphosis. By moltings, that larva will become into adult. We call that particular change as the metamorphosis. We use it to say. Okay, so that is general characters that so people lose patience that wait within 5 minutes. They are going to complete this. That leftover characters that some we have that along with that will go and will flow this. Trilobita, trilobita. These are that extinct marine arthropods. Classification wise, we are going extinct marine arthropods. Trilobites are extinct marine arthropod. Most of the characters I already seen, but some left over that we have to talk about. We said appendages are numerous and similar and biramous. Body is divided into that head, thorax, and pygidium. Head, thorax, and pygidium. Then this particular body that is having median 2 lateral lobes. Like this, if you take 2 median lateral lobes are present. That means the furrows are present. 2 prominent longitudinal furrows divides that body into that 2 lateral lobes like this one and this one. So it will be like this. Body is divisible into head, thorax, pygidium. Okay, total body we are talking. That body 1, 2, 3, 3 lobes. 2 longitudinal furrows divides the body into 3 lobes. Hence we call trilobita. These are not present at present. Extinct means gone away. Like with your well-known example, dinosaurs are gone. But the word we use extinct. These are extinct. Example, Triarthras and Dalmanitis. Now, subphylum Cheliceraata, which includes Xyphosura and Arachnida. That we said in case of subphylum Cheliceraata, that the body consists of an anterior 6-segmented cephalothorax or prosoma and posterior 13-segmented opistosoma, common for both Xyphosura and Arachnida we are talking about. Then which is further divided, opistosoma further divided into mesosoma and metasoma. So in the prosoma, we said in both Xyphosura and Arachnida, 6 pairs of appendages are present. In that the first pair is modified feeding structure chelicerae. Hence we call Cheliceraata. Okay, then antennae and jaws here there is no more. Mandibles and antennae are not present in both Xyphosura and Arachnida. That means I am talking about Cheliceraata. So book lungs, book gills are trachea that we are seeing. Now let's talk about Xyphosura, which is very important. That means common characters of Xyphosura and Arachnida as Cheliceraata I said. Let's talk about that. Xyphosura are marine organism. Xyphosura are marine organism with branchial respiration. Marine organisms with branchial respiration. These are marine organisms with branchial respiration. That is the characteristic feature. Here we see some extinct are there and some extant are there. That means extinct, gone out. But extant, 3 genera are there. Extant means living. We are extant. That who are gone out, we say extinct. Extinct. Okay, 3 genera of extant living animals are present. And prosoma is covered by a broad horseshoe-shaped structure called carapace. Horseshoe-shaped structure called carapace, shell-like. The prosoma is covered by that horseshoe-shaped structure called carapace. Okay. So then in prosoma remaining we know the 6 pairs of appendages. First pair chelicerae, 5 pairs are walking legs, and in that 4 pairs are walking legs. 1 pair is pusher leg, and opistosoma talking about that 6 pairs of appendages. In that first pair is genital operculum, and the remaining 5 pairs are book gills. The metasoma ends as tells. The story will end already. Some left over that I am talking. That indirect development with a larval form called trilobite larva is a unique feature of this trilobite. I request all of you to take the screenshot of the Xyphosura, which we are going to get in 4 marks the question also. This is the order to write. Xyphosura. Next, arachnida. Arachnida, these are terrestrial animals. Terrestrial, that means on land. There are terrestrial animals. These are arachnids, are terrestrial animals, and that we know the body is divisible like prosoma and opistosoma. We said that prosoma is having 6 pairs of appendages. In that first pair is chelicera, second pair is pedipalp. The remaining 4 pairs are walking legs, and the mesosomal appendages that also we wrote. Mesosomal appendages are modified book lungs, and in case of scorpions and spiders, respiratory organs are book lungs itself, but particularly talking about that spinneret, that modified abdominal appendages, 4 pairs, book lungs are trachea or both. These are characteristic features of spider we discussed. Okay. And respiratory pigment, as I said over here, respiratory pigment is present in crustacea and arachnid. Hemocyanin is present. And the very important thing to be remembered, scorpions are viviparous. That is the specialty of scorpions. Scorpions are viviparous. Young one laying. Egg laying is called oviparous. Particularly scorpions are said to be viviparous. Remaining we said excretory organs are Malpighian tubules and coxal glands. Then take a screenshot, arachnida. We get as a 4 marks question. With examples, Calamnia scorpion, Arania spider, Sarcoptes each mine. Special characters of spider is given in the box. Next, crustacea, very regular 4 marks question even it is. Some we characters we already seen, just little need to add over. Little we need to add. Crustacea. These are aquatic. Crustaceans are. We see that Pelimon, aquatic. Pelimon is a freshwater prawn, we say. That Pelimon, that aquatic animal. Marine water prawns are also there. Peneus monodon, we don't have, no matter. Then aquatic, head, thorax, fuse and form cephalothorax, isn't it? Cephalo, head, thorax. So head and thorax, we have to say. So let me write in bracket. Head and thorax. Cephalo, head. Thorax is thorax. Head and thorax fuse and form cephalothorax. Usually say body is divisible into cephalothorax and abdomen. This cephalothorax is covered by chitinous carapace. I am writing here in bracket. The chitinous carapace. Cephalothorax is covered by chitinous carapace. Okay. So we just made it there itself. In some, the exoskeleton is hardened by calcium carbonate exoskeleton. Calcium carbonate exoskeleton is there in these organisms, particularly in case of crabs and lobsters are having. Our prawns is also having this feature, calcium carbonate exoskeleton is present in case of crabs, lobsters, prawns, marine water prawns. Okay, then the remaining we said cephalic region where 2 pairs of antennae, antenules and antennae, which is a unique feature of class crustacea. Then 1 pair of mandibles, 2 pairs of maxillae, we made it out. Thoracic and respiratory organs, that the thoracic and abdominal appendages are biramus, which is very important. I think I made it. We just, okay, we wrote it. Thoracic and abdominal appendages are biramus. That means every appendage will be branched. So what are the respiratory organs? We said gills, and excretory organs are green glands and antennary glands. Sensory organs include antennae and compound eyes are present, antennae are present, and the balancing structures which are unique here, that is tattoo cysts are present. Okay, so that indirect development is indirect with large number of larval forms like myces, jovia, metazovia, megalopa, elima, nauplius, metanauplius. Likewise, but we don't have all that. I'm not writing means there is no meaning. Okay, so please take the screenshot. We have a 4 marks question here. Crustacea. Crustacea. Next, that be patient. We are going to complete this in 5 minutes. Little be patient here. Chilopoda. We said chilopods are centipedes, 100-legged animals, terrestrial, air-breathing, carnivorous animals. These are terrestrial, air-breathing, and carnivorous. Terrestrial, air-breathing, carnivorous animals. These are chilopods. Okay, so that to be remembered. When it comes to the diplopoda, that diplopods are terrestrial, air-breathing. These are terrestrial, these are air-breathing, but these are decaying animals. That means they are not carnivores. Terrestrial, as usual, air-breathing, but they eat on decaying leaves, saprozoic we say. Eat decaying organic materials, not like earthworm. These are going to eat the, like earthworm. They are going to eat the decaying plant material, saprophytic. Basic decaying plant material, technically called saprophytic. That's the difference, you see. And chilopoda are 100 leg, diplopoda are 1000 leg. Example for here chilopoda, Scolopendra scutigera. Diplopoda, Spirosteptus, Julius. Body is divisible into head and trunk. Diplopoda, head and trunk. Head bear, 1 pair of antennae, 1 pair of mandible, 2 pairs of maxillae. Chilopoda. Here also same, Diplopoda. But maxillae are modified into Gnathochilarium. Maxillae are modified into Gnathochilarium. So trunk, here we have difference. Each segment bear a pair of clad appendages, and first pair of trunk appendages bear poisonous class, hence called chilopoda. Here each segment bear 2 pairs of jointed legs. The common features, both are having tracheal system for respiration and both are having Malpighian tubules for excretion. So that's it. Gnathochilarium is a unique feature of diplopoda, that to be remembered. Example for chilopoda, Scolopendra scutigera. Diplopoda, Spirosteptus, and Julius. Finally, Hexapoda, Insecta, class Insecta. Okay, so if you remember the cockroach, which we are going to be learn in future, that some of them already we have completed cockroach earlier. I have to revise it back again. But no matter, when you learn the cockroach, this is going to be simple. Only things to be remembered here, it is the most successful and the largest group of animals on earth. Insecta group is the most successful and largest group, that class. We said that most successful animals and largest group, that means largest class. You see, Hexapoda or Insecta. Why called Hexapoda? These are 3 pairs. These are cosmopolitan. You can't find a place in the world without cockroach. That means without a hexapods we are talking. Okay, so that they're cosmopolitan, but that you can't say marine habitat that we have give exception. They're absent in marine habitat. Even freshwater you'll find them, but absent in the marine habitat. Okay, the body consists of head, thorax, abdomen. That head bear that 1 pair of antennae, 1 pair of mandible, 2 pairs of maxillae, and thorax bear the compound eyes, also the sense organs here. We'll discuss more in cockroach. Compound eyes are present, but they are not appendages. You just remember, they are not appendages. Compound eyes are present. Thorax bear 3 pairs of legs and 2 pairs of wings, jointed legs. We say that I call hexapoda because of 3 pairs of jointed legs, 6-legged animal. So wings are also present, but wings are absent in Lepisma. That to be remembered. Lepisma is a silverfish. Here already we wrote. That's why we'll make it in bracket. Wings are absent in them. We don't find wings, lepisma. Wings are absent. Okay, so do you know the sound mosquito and housefly when they are moving around us, that sound comes, that is because of wings only, second pair of wings, we say that the halters, the balances, rod-like structures, that, first pair of wings, second pair of wings for fly. Okay, so trachea, the respiratory organs and excretory organs are Malpighian tubules, and a great water conservation technique, uric acid as an excretory material, they are going to eliminate, and then the development is indirect with larval forms. Metamorphosis is the unique feature. Examples: Periplaneta, cockroach; Musca, housefly; Anopheles culex aedes, mosquitoes; Lepisma, silverfish. I request you to take the screenshot of this particular hexapoda and also the previous one, Chilopoda and Diplopoda. We'll find as a differences, mostly differences. So that's it about the phylum Arthropoda. Along with the classification, we are seeing along with the classification phylum Arthropoda.